here's my problem, right? They showed three factions, and each of the three factions are all human based. And I was just kind of assuming, all right, this is going to be a space thing. This is going to be Fallout in space, essentially Skyrim in space. There is not like even Skyrim had more diversity in your different like species than this game so far, and it's just like
Jesus Christ, is
why?
that all y'all whine about is diversity? We're in space now. Jesus.
What's up, everyone? This is Press X to Start Podcast Season 5, Episode 40. Press X to Start Podcast is an audio and video podcast seeking to transform the video game media landscape through an underserved and protected point of view. Restorative justice for the unrepresented programmers, developers, and consumers. I am your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choice, aka the man with the impact, aka the man on the hill that's riding for the Republic.
Kens.
Wow. That was actually really good. Who are you, by the way?
I am Sean MF Ross.
What the MF stand for?
Menthol flavor.
Whoa.
I'm the top 5 to get smoked on. AKA Tigre.
Wait, AKA what?
Baby Tigre.
Baby Tigre. Okay. I see where you're going. Rolling the R's. Last up, who we got here?
It's Avery.
Nailed it.
You
with
can't
that,
fuck that up.
right?
But the
Well, you
day he
can.
does, something is off with it. We need to go do a wellness check.
Apex has stopped. All right, so with that being said, let's talk about the highlights for this episode. First up, we will be talking about what we saw from the latest Uncharted movie trailer. Ooh, there was absolutely no mustaches to be found in that. We have new and surprising details from Bethesda's new epic space game, Starfield. And then we'll be talking about some of the latest rumors that surfaced for the new Splinter Cell game. So if you're into splinters and cells, that's for you. All right. With that being said, let us, instead of jumping into what we've been playing, we're going to jump into the quick hits. All right. Number 1. This comes from Game Informer's Wesley LeBlanc. PlayStation. Sony releases first official Uncharted movie trailer, and it features an iconic Drake's Deception action scene. The movie doesn't appear to be directly following a single Uncharted game, but rather it seems to be lifting elements from multiple games in the franchise. What do you guys take on the Uncharted trailer?
It sucks that they didn't use Mark Wahlberg to be Drake, but I mean, it is what it is.
These more. Oh, okay.
Originally, he was supposed to play him. Remember?
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it was supposed to be him, Joe Pesci. It did not sound like an Uncharted movie.
Interesting.
But
so,
I'm willing to check it out.
Would you prefer Tom Holland over Mark Wahlberg as Drake, Avery?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed the trailer. I thought it was like really cool trailer from a like action from like a what type of genre movie it was. It did absolutely nothing for me in terms of like if I wasn't an Uncharted fan watching this trailer, I would have been like, oh, this is just a movie that's going to come out, hoping it's good. But I watched it, I'm like, this actually looks pretty good. My only problems with the movie that I could think of beyond that are, one, Mark Wahlberg is probably just going to play Mark Wahlberg in this movie. He doesn't really feel like Sully, which kind of sucks. And then this is a minor one that I don't think is a problem, really, is that Tom Holland has like 2 voices. It's his traditional British voice, and then there's his I'm Spider-Man voice, and he pretty much uses his I'm Spider-Man voice as his Drake. And like
he's doing the best he can though.
his acting and like line delivery and everything, it works perfectly. Like there's a moment when he talks where he's like, oh, he sounds like Drake.
Mm.
Oh, he's saying a Drake-like line. Like when the Scottish guy comes up at the end and gives an entire brogue about how he's gonna kick his ass, and then Drake is like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a Drake delivery. It just sounds like Spider-Man saying it."
Yeah.
I feel like, granted, the look isn't there, but you shouldn't cast off of just pure looks. If that was the case, we'd have terrible movies all over the place. It's probably for the best that we did not end up with Mark Wahlberg being Drake,
100%.
because
That movie
like
did
he
not
said,
sound good.
like he said, that would have just been Mark Wahlberg. Has anybody seen The Happening?
Yeah.
No. No.
Happening is a fine movie. It's a fine movie. It's not good. It's absolutely not good. It's not good, but it's so absurd that it's actually enjoyable to watch.
Was that
There's
like
a
a 4 out of 10 on IGN scale? Fine.
No.
There's a
Fine is
scene
like
where like
fine
the
is like a
lady
6.
is freaking out with him, and Mark Wahlberg is just like, "What? No, man, we're not trying to kill you." It's just so terribly delivered.
Oh man.
Avery remembers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I watched this trailer, I was very much in the same in the general area as you two. Like I thought the trailer was interesting. I thought, oh, this is cool. I like the set piece that they showed. The falling in midair and being on the go plane, like that was really cool. I think they did a good job showing that in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then I happened to see what other people thought on the internet, and that's where just like, okay, guys, you guys are really like in your feelings a little bit about this, and it's again, it's one of those things where you should be accustomed to it by now, but people are
What's
just
that?
picking out. It's just people being upset, like, oh, this doesn't look great. Like, oh, it's Tom Holland being Tom Holland. It's not even
Well,
like
there's
he's
no
not even
middle ground
doing
for
good.
people. Everything either sucks or it's amazing.
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
there's no gray area for people. So I mean,
Yeah.
this is why I don't pay attention to a lot of reviews when it comes to movies or games.
Mm.
It's just people like me and you just paid for their opinion. That doesn't mean they necessarily like what you like or have the same, whatever.
Hey, maybe we might be getting paid for our opinion too. More on that later on. Not later on this episode, but later on, like
Yeah.
later.
The most interesting thing I like, so like the one, there are two takeaways I got from the trailer. One, I like that they are including, I'm assuming that's Chloe Fraser.
Yeah,
I like
Chloe,
that they're
it's Chloe.
including her in this movie. It's like, if in my head, I'm already seeing the trilogy of the Uncharted film as it becomes an actual franchise, if it's successful. And like, Chloe being an ongoing part of it is a really cool idea. And then two, I'm so fucking glad they retconned his origin.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as I love the Uncharted franchise, Uncharted 4 fucked up his origin so hard, and this movie is consolidating it in a way that's actually like is streamlined for a movie, and it gives actually him an arc to do this story beyond the plot of Uncharted 1, where it's just I just happen to be doing this.
Right.
Like there's a
Uncharted
reason why he's
4
doing this.
Uncharted 4 is which one?
It's
That's what with his brother.
It's with its brother.
Oh,
it's one they reveal
okay.
that like, oh, his last name isn't really Drake. No, that was 3. That was revealed his last name wasn't Drake. But then it revealed that he had an older brother, and then the older brother just disappears. Like it's one of those things where I like 4, but it's one of those things where like, okay, this could have been done way more elegantly.
Yeah, like for me, I feel like this movie is a perfect package because I always gel together all of the set piece and stuff from Uncharted games, and it's just one long thing that happens. It's essentially it's a one long movie in my head, so I can never parse out. Okay, this section is just Uncharted 3. This section's Uncharted 2. This section's Uncharted 4. But yeah, so like the fact that they're doing this,
I'm seeing a lot of Uncharted 3 and 4 in this film.
Yeah,
I don't really see because I regularly replay 2 because 2 is so fucking good. But I don't see really anything from 2 beyond Chloe's involvement. 1 is it's Uncharted 1, and I'm like, there's nothing really memorable about Uncharted 1.
Yeah,
that was where they established. That's just where they established the formula.
Yeah, I will say though, real talk, I was watching the trailer like, oh, this is cool. And then when Tati Gabrielle showed up, I was like, oh, you have my attention. I am going to watch this wherever it comes out now. So yeah, props to them. Props to her getting onto this because I didn't expect that, and I'm not sure if it was ever announced that she was going to be a part of the movie too. So good for her, good for them.
I didn't expect Antonio Banderas.
That too, and I was like, wait a minute, Sony's actually doing some moves. But yeah, that was I'm pretty sure we're all going to be looking forward to at least watching this. Is it going to be theaters only, or is it going to be also?
Only.
Yeah, because there's no other. I guess PlayStation now maybe.
Sony does not have its own streaming service.
No, they don't. All right. Well, before we
Don't
jump
give them
into
any ideas.
Before we jump into the next quick
actually, that's not true. Sony does have streaming services. They don't have
Crunchyroll?
film. Yes, Crunchyroll and Funimation.
Oh, true. I couldn't even imagine them putting this on like Crunchyroll.
They wouldn't.
Anyways,
go ahead.
Before we jump to the next thing, if you're watching us and you've been enjoying this video so far, please like the video, hit the subscribe button, and especially hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on our future videos. Your support keeps us going, and hitting the bell keeps you up to date when we drop future videos. So go ahead and do that.
Like that smash button and subscribe the video.
Nailed. All right, let's jump into the second thing, which comes from Collider from Trippy Pinino. No, Panino.
Papino.
Papino. There you go. Starfield trailer explores the lore of Bethesda's space adventure. So we got a whole bunch of stuff from this. Did you guys happen to see this trailer as well?
No, I didn't watch it. I didn't really care.
So, all right.
Just to establish it, mainline Bethesda games really don't do anything for me. The only one that did anything for me was Skyrim, and I played that game ages afterwards, and hated 50% of my time playing that game until I decided, oh, this is how I'm going to play this game, and I'm going to have fun playing it this way. And then I had fun and I enjoyed my time with it. But it's like one of those things I don't find mainline Bethesda games exciting, and nothing about Starfield, especially after the last game they put out, nothing about Starfield has me jazzed that this is going to change the game. But I'm glad people are excited for it.
Okay,
I'm willing to look at it, but
right. Yeah, so I'll just read some stuff on that we could talk about it. The information we got from the trailer was that the settled system is the space player. Oh, okay. The settled systems is essentially like the solar system. That's the space that players will explore in Starfield. Described as beginning in our solar system and then expanding 50 light years into the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, so this is just doing the trailer did a service of pointing you in where you will be, so you won't even be remotely near Earth or anything like that. You won't be in our solar system. In the trailer, they showed off 3 different factions that you could join in. It was the Ecliptic Mercenaries, the Pirates of the Caribbean, or Pirates of the Crimson Fleet,
Space
and the
Caribbean.
the House of Varun. I'm gonna say that's right.
Jamaican space sledding team. Space runnings. Go ahead.
So 20 years ago, there was a massive campaign known as the Colonial War. Colony War, and involved the United. I don't really feel like reading all this. Anyways, so there was a thing that happened. There was a giant space conflict, and you are playing 20 years in the future of that. And this is a thing. So here's the thing. Here, I say all this to
Skyrim in space, but there was a war in the past. Keep it moving. Next game.
No. This looked really, really boring. So here's my problem, right? They showed 3 factions, and each of the 3 factions are all human based. And I was just kind of assuming, all right, this is going to be a space thing. This is going to be Fallout in space, essentially Skyrim in space. There is not even Skyrim had more diversity in your different species than this game so far, and it's just like,
Jesus Christ, is that all y'all whine about is diversity? We're in space now, Jesus.
I feel because we still know absolutely nothing about this game, and I didn't watch the trailer, so I can't even bring that into context. But based on what you're saying, it really feels like they're trying not to be Mass Effect.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do it better, then do it better. Like Mass
But can
Effect.
they do it better?
I don't know. I mean, but like Mass Effect isn't really in a good place right now either. So like they're EA's relying on the trilogy to really do the work. I mean, they don't really they're touting a new game, but like that's not really. I don't know. Just watching this trailer is just like, man, this is all really kind of forgettable. It really looks like Fallout. Like I don't know. They showed concept art and it was all right, but yeah, I'm still waiting to be whelmed by this game. Also, there's No Man's Sky, and they put out an update where you have giant worms, and it's just like No Man's Sky is actually doing a better job than this. Yeah. All right. Number 3. This comes from Games Radar's Ali Jones. Oh, okay. Starfield League claimed every planet is bigger than the entire Skyrim map.
That sounds like trash to me.
That does not sound appetizing.
Yeah.
Like, I literally just came from playing Far Cry and being like, I don't like how big this map is.
Yeah.
How long has Starfield been in development?
Okay, theoretically, Starfield has been in development since after Fallout 76 came out. Right? So, like, maybe 3 to 4 years.
Nah, that's trash. And every planet is trash because if they're bigger than the Skyrim map, they can't be all that populated. A lot of them either have to be barren or they did some procedurally generated bullshit and let the computer do most of the work because there's no way.
Here's the thing. You're absolutely right, Sean. Because like, here's the thing: every planet in No Man's Sky is like 5 Skyrims. Like that doesn't really amount to anything because like the planets in No Man's Sky are pretty barren until you find like a place to do something. So it's just like, why would you think like that's something that? I mean, of course, that's probably going to be appealing to some people who just want to do it. They just want to look at a number, be like, oh, this game has value because these planets are many times bigger than Skyrim. But it's just like, I don't know. It's one of those things where that doesn't need to be the case, and it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of sad to see that this is. I mean, of course, this is a rumor, but it is kind of sad to see like this might be a thing where it's just like we already know what that's going to be like.
This is why Bethesda games don't appeal to me.
Yeah. However, I will devil's advocate on this. As far as I'm aware, this game doesn't exist. All we see was a reveal trailer. All we're hearing is leaks. Until Bethesda comes out with a showcase to show off this game, I'm going to reserve judgment on its quality, even though I'm not excited for it because of my own Bethesda Softworks baggage.
You have a good point, Avery. We should not paint this game in a corner already.
I am. Anyway.
All right. Anyway. Number 4. This comes from the PlayStation blog from Grace or Lady. God of War 2018 is coming to PC. So, as of August 2021, 19.5 million copies of God of War on PlayStation 4 have been sold through, and we can't wait to share the experience with a whole new group of players on PC. Releasing on January 14th, 2022, you'll be able to enjoy the full potential of our cinematic no-cut camera. It follows Kratos and Atreus across the realms with the option of true 4K resolution on support devices and a whole bunch of other very PC focused features.
We're not going to read down this whole thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of acronyms and NVIDIA is mentioned in there a couple of times. So with the purchase of this game on PC, you also get a bunch of digital content. So you get a bunch of skins, you get a bunch of shield skins, and then you get the Death Vow armor set for Kratos and Atreus. This is really cool. There's always the pushback of certain PlayStation gamers talking about, oh, that's another exclusive going to PC. Like, what's Sony thinking? What's going on? And it's just like
they're trying to get people hooked on the first game, so you will buy the console for the second game.
I think yeah, it's people. It's one of those things where, like, as someone who is quote unquote now a PC gamer, I always have to look at this thing as, do I buy this for a console or do I buy this for PC? I buy most of my games if possible for console because of ease of use and it's a more
Right.
comfortable thing. But now, someone who's in the PC atmosphere, I understand the benefits and everything like that and all that. Whatever. Long story short,
Right.
there are two ways. Both Microsoft and Sony are going at this at two different ways. And I find it very interesting. Microsoft is everything comes out day to day on both consoles, and to a certain extent, that's going to have pluses and minuses. And ultimately, since they don't really care about selling consoles and they care about selling an ecosystem, this really doesn't bother them. For PlayStation, this game has sold a shit ton on
19.5
console.
million.
Yeah, it's being released now on PC to a bigger audience that and continue to sell. And then they're not promising God of War 2 on PC. So if you played God of War 1 and said, "Oh man, this is great," you either A, get the console, or B, and wait, is God of War 2 one of the ones that's also going to be on PS4?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. You either get one of the consoles and play it there, or you wait 3 to 4 years for Sony to say, we've maxed out on its sales on this platform. Now let's release it on a bigger on another platform to continue itself.
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, that's you're literally talking their marketing plan right now, or their
And shit, I mean, let's say you do buy one of the consoles. I mean, while you're here, look at all this.
There's
other
Miles
stuff,
Morales.
Yeah,
like
Yeah, here are a bunch of other games that we are not releasing on PC anytime soon.
Yep.
But I tend to find that the PC audience is way different than the console audience. So, like, I really want to see what the conversion rate is going to be for those situations like that.
Yeah. I feel like God of War is kind of in the same realm as like Last of Us 2, where it's just like you don't really necessarily have to be into third-person action adventures, but you still recognize that game as being like worth your time. So I definitely think that they're going to get at least another couple of million downloads. Yeah, downloads out of this God of War coming on PC. And then also this kind of goes along with the other news story in the past talking about Jim Ryan saying that he wants to take the like 10 million buys on the exclusives to like 100 million. So this kind of works in that where he can probably forecast getting closer to that if he starts releasing the exclusives on you know
I've talked in the past about like not
PC.
liking these fluff interviews with like with like the higher ups of companies and things like that because like there's little to no actionable information that can be taken from that. But this is one of those instances where you can actionably take God of War being on PC and then combine that with their current PC offerings based on and bring that up with that interview and things make sense.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, totally agree. Number 5. This comes from Bandai Namco, and
I'll be back.
Don't worry, because I'll be talking to you, fellow listeners. Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy has been announced. Avery actually left. Now that Avery's gone. All right, so Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy is a interesting title now, right? It's not a sequel to Battle Operations 2, but it is a standalone multiplayer game where it also works very much in conjunction with Battle Operations 2, where if you complete story content in that game, you'll get rewards in Battle Operations 2. And if you do different missions in Battle Operations 2, you will get awards in Code Fairy. So it's really cool that they decided to do something like this. And this is single player content that a lot of people were asking for, especially on the Reddit. So it's kind of cool to see that, like, oh, they actually listen to the people on there really, really yelling about like single player content and just doing stuff for people who aren't necessarily that great at the multiplayer, like mobile suit battle part, which is essentially the whole game, but people who still love Gundam. Um, so with this trailer, they showed a bunch of stuff. I'm not gonna really go into the real.
Is this coming to the US?
Yeah, it's coming to the
Well,
US.
that was one of those interesting things when I looked at the fine print of this thing. It was like, oh, yeah, there's going to be an English version for Southeast Asia. And I'm like, it doesn't really indicate whether this is coming west side. It indicates that DJ's going to have to create a Southeast Asia Singapore PSN to play this game in the West.
We will see.
My man about to fire up Google Translate.
So it's going to be released November 5th. One thing that they're going to be doing with this is that it's going to release in 3 parts. So the first part's coming in November 5th. The second part will release November 19th, and the third, December 3rd. There hasn't been a price put on the standard and deluxe version of this game bundle or whatever. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. The mobile suits they showed, there are going to be new mobile suits to the game. Actually, new mobile suits to the series as a whole. So a lot of this story takes place or focuses around kind of like the Pale Rider mobile suits. Those who know. Those who don't know, you will learn soon. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I am excited for this and can't wait till then. If it don't come out on the US side, I'll figure out a way of playing this thing because I'm gonna play this thing. Number 6. This comes from VGC's Tom Henderson. A decade later, Ubisoft has finally greenlit a new Splinter Cell game. Sources claim. So this is not even confirmed. So according to development sources who told us the title has been put into production as a means to win back fans frustrated by recent efforts to revive the franchise in the mobile and VR spaces.
Mhm.
It's not clear which studios are working on the project, though 2 people with knowledge of Ubisoft plans suggested the new Splinter Cell was being led by a studio outside of the traditional Montreal base. So,
This
Jordan's
sounds like
not on
this
this
is 3-4
episode.
years out.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure, yeah. Jordan's not the episode, and Jordan's
once again,
a big
this is
proponent
not.
for. Yeah, Jordan's a big proponent for Splinter Cell and wanting him to come back, or wanting Splinter Cell to come back in a way because they have essentially destroyed Sam Fisher and all of the weird spin-off stuff they have.
Okay. That is a hyperbole. That's hyperbole. He shows up in Rainbow Six Siege, which is actually a really cool thing because he's a playable agent in that, which is cool, and it continues the story. So that's fine. He shows up in
continues his story, or is it just
sort of like, we'll see if it's canon, but we'll see if any of the games are canon. He shows up in one of the fucking Ghost Recons. And there's an entire missing chain based on him, which is like a really cool story. And then he shows up in most of their Tom Clancy branded mobile games, but like they're not selling Splinter Cell mobile games, they're selling Tom Clancy's mobile games. And so of course they're gonna put Sam Fisher in there. Like, this isn't like what they did with Gears, where it was Gears Pop and everyone had to deal with that.
I still remember that. So what you're saying is that
bring back Siphon Filter. Fuck it.
Well, technically, Days Gone is in the same universe as Siphon Filter.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's in the same universe as Siphon Filter?
Yeah, I think there's conjecture of like item descriptions and everything that hint that it's connected, or that could just be because the Studio Bend is responsible for the Siphon Filter games. They just put Easter eggs, but you never know.
Okay. That would be interesting. That'd be something that I would look at. Number 7. This comes from GameSpot's Eddie McCud.
McCoosh?
McChead.
McCook?
McChead.
Whatever.
McChead. Yeah. Blizzard reveals McCree's new name in Overwatch. You want to take this one, Avery, because you're more attached to this than
Yeah,
Right.
he's now going as Cole Cassidy, and they're going to release some lore going forward to make in game it official. I think what we're all just I guess theorizing beforehand is it's literally going to be what we thought it was going to be was, hey, Jesse McCree is my, like, when I became an outlaw, Jesse McCree is the name I took, and my real name is blank, which is Cole Cassidy, which I think is fine. It sounds cowboy-ish. My only thing, and this is me coming from a fan of the Wildcats, he is literally a couple letters off of being called Cole Cash, and then I could have just said, oh, it's Grifter.
Is he gonna hold a press conference like Muhammad Ali?
I mean, they've given a date for a in-game event where they're going to do the lore for it. So yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
They should ban him from the games for like a season. You know, the same way they banned Muhammad Ali from fighting.
I mean, I think. Oh well, no, they only do that in pro play. So.
All right, number 8. This comes from Axios. Courtney Brown. New World players are running out of in-game money. So this is actually this is boy, Amazon. All right. The way players get paid completing quests, for instance, aren't offering enough coin to keep up with how much New World money is leaving circulation. Wait,
This is
leaving
terrible. Yeah.
that is anyway.
Basically,
Essentially,
I guess when you
there's
buy stuff from the shops, it's leaving circulation.
yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. So it's that money's not being put back into the economy of the game. All right. I got you. All right. So the result is money is a scarcity. So its value is skyrocketing. Now players are opting to barter for goods rather than spending their oh so precious coins. So prices for goods are plummeting, sparking fears that players won't be able to profit from their now super cheap produced goods.
I wonder if they have those like gold. Like I don't know if you ever played an MMO, but they normally have like Asian coin farming operations that sell gold for cheap or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a whole industry. I think it's mainly connected with World of Warcraft. They're like
And Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's sweatshops, but it's kind of not sweatshops, but it definitely is a sweatshop where it's just like a group of probably young, underpaid Asian people playing this game on 24
Cheap
hours a
PCs.
day on cheap PCs, just doing the bare minimum required to get
Farm
gold.
cash.
To farm like resources that they can then give to other players who pay for it.
Oh, interesting. Oh wow. Huh. Learn something new every day. Huh. All right. So yeah, this is one of those things that happen when you know Amazon made this open world game that obviously they didn't have any prior experience to making big games like this, and this happened to be successful. And
In the
with
short term,
that,
anyway.
yeah, in the short term, yeah. But with that being said, like now that it's successful and people are on this game, people are starting to be like,
I think New World has legs.
"You think so?"
Yeah,
if they can keep the events going or whatever.
I think World of Warcraft sat as king of MMOs for ages, and then beyond because of Blizzard bullshit and then their own game bullshit, it sort of hit a dip,
Slump.
and that allows Final Fantasy 14 to just leapfrog over it in like a huge way. The little engine that could.
11 was always at its heels as well, but go ahead.
I mean,
Was it?
If we can talk about like on paper the math of like the player base, but like when people were talking about MMOs 10 years ago, they weren't talking about Final Fantasy, they were talking about World of Warcraft. And then 14 leapfrogged it, and then this game came out at an interesting time where WoW is at a lull. Is that from all the betas? It was a quality game, and it was filled with content. And as long as Amazon continues to support it in a meaningful way, I think it will have meaningful legs. Because I've not heard any real issues online without going into new world like forums and everything. I'm just talking about like the general, the streets are talking and they like this game.
Okay.
The streets, huh?
Yeah,
Chirac,
I saw a
Compton.
let's play of it, and it looked pretty interesting. It was one of those things where it's like, this I could see this being fun, with a couple of people, and you're just kind of just doing the quest and
It's purely
just
social.
leveling up.
Most
Yeah,
MMOs, you got to be in a guild or playing with your friends or some shit.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
Tell that to
Yeah.
my 30 hours of Final Fantasy 14.
That ain't no hours, man. Get out of here. That's
Okay.
no time in that game. I played 30 hours in the beta. Get out of here.
I got the
Get
credits.
out
I'm
of
just saying.
All right.
here. You barely scratched
Main
the
path,
surface,
main
man.
path, main path. All right. Speaking of barely scratching the surface, number 9 this comes from Kotaku's Ari Notice. CD Projekt Red delays next gen updates for Cyberpunk and Witcher 3. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna read this directly from the website because this is actually kind of funny. Nope, you're not getting Cyberpunk. Okay, that was it. Yeah, so their games are being delayed. Essentially because it's based on recommendations supplied by teams supervising the development of both games. So they've decided to, push the release date. There's that. Were you gonna say something, Sean?
Uh, I I'd never played The Witcher. Um,
Oh,
Cyberpunk was this just isn't looking promising for them as a developer.
I
I feel like
have
it.
I have the opposite read on this.
Go
It's not
ahead.
that because this is them saying that we can't fuck this up.
true, true.
We can't this isn't like we can't fuck this up. So we could easily release the Witcher again and our Cyberpunk, but they're not done, so we're gonna give them time. I own The Witcher 3 on 3 different fucking machines.
Mm-hmm.
I only give a shit about a PS5 version of it. But considering that when the Witcher TV show came out, The Witcher 3 sold in gangbusters afterwards,
That's true. That's true.
it want this 100% has real it's one of those things where all they have to do is release this and that show is going to carry this release going forward. Cyberpunk is a bigger question, but that's
Yeah,
only
I
for
can see The
consoles.
Witcher doing well. I don't know about the Cyberpunk again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think the Cyberpunk bridge has been burnt already. So even if they release the next gen upgrade and it's fine, or if it's good,
Fundamentally, there was just a lot of shit that needed to change in that game,
yeah.
and
And
I
I
don't know if
just
the power of PS5 could save it.
it's not.
I
Yeah, even if the next gen upgrade comes out and it's a fantastic upgrade, I still feel like there's just too many people who was just invested on what they saw last year,
Hmm.
and what they got was not what they wanted, and they've just been like, no, I'm done with CD Projekt Red. Like, I'm not gonna go back. So they kind of destroyed that first impression, at least in my mind. But yeah, Witcher 3, take your time, get that going. We'll see how Witcher 4 goes because I feel like that if Witcher 4 if something happens either to the studio, like there's a sexual harassment thing or something really bad inside that studio, either that could destroy a studio, or if Witcher 4 just fumbles completely, then I think that
okay, so we also have to realize that CD Projekt Red isn't just CD Projekt Red. They are also GOG, which is a video game
true. That's a good
online
point. That's a good
Oh,
store.
point. Yeah, yeah.
There's the fact that they get money from the Polish government because of their status, and they're they're fine.
Yeah, that's a good
I
point.
also I I play Cyberpunk on PC, so I had a fine experience.
Mhm.
So I don't think there's anything fundamentally broken with that game. I think they just needed to make sure it worked well on console, and that's all they need to do.
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe them type
Alright.
of games just ain't for me.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Alright, number 10. This is the last of the quick hits, and this is a special one. This comes from Windows Central, Jez Corden. Project Shaolin. Xbox may be working on a Wu-Tang themed Wu-Tang? Did I say tame? Did it sound like tame? It sounded like tame
sure.
to me. Yeah, Wu-Tang themed action RPG. So, This was revealed in the Xbox 2 podcast. Essentially, one of the hosts on there said, "I've heard that third-person melee-oriented RPG,
Why does it need to be
complete
an RPG? What the fuck?
because RPG is buzzword. You gotta that means that you're gonna be playing for a while. It's a four-player co-op game. The campaign is planned to run for a couple of dozen hours, complete with a rich in-game comprised of seasonal content drops and other updates. You'll be able to obtain loot, weapons, gear, and so on in both procedural endgame dungeons and more tailor-made events. Also, it appears that legendary hip-hop group Wu-Tang Clan themselves will be headed up the game's soundtrack. Brass Lion, this is probably the one thing that I want to pull out from this. Brass Lion co-founder Minev Minev Hair okay,
Exactly.
recently put a tweet looking for potential hires on the upcoming unannounced action RPG. So Brass Lion is actually a pretty new game development studio that is a majority black and brown people. So I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. I want to say that this might be their first game. I don't think they've produced anything before this. But yeah, it's a Wu-Tang gang. You guys read on this? Nothing.
I this is gonna sound fucked up. I don't care about the Wu-Tang Clan enough to think a game being made about them is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
The views of Avery Williams no longer.
It's like Marcus makes fun of me for this. Marcus and Chagall make fun of me for this all the time. I don't give a shit about music, and I stopped caring about music ages ago. And like, I stopped. Even when I was like listening to music hardcore, Wu-Tang was never really my bag. Like, I like Cream, but I like the meme around Cream more than I like the actual song.
itself.
And it's one of those things that I liked Method Man and Redman, the guys, in like their film work, but like I was never like, yeah, also your music's great. And I'm like, whatever. So like, this is one of those things where I'm like, the black and brown development team is really interesting, and I'm really hoping that pans out and like this becomes like a watershed moment for that team, and that's great. In terms of the product, it's going to have to be like it has to do a lot to get me, because it's not getting me on its premise, if that makes sense.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I look at this and I think like on the face of it, it is very much so like, all right, like is this gonna be just kind of in a way like a movie tie-in, like where it's just like, oh, they're just using Wu-Tang Clan to like bolster their game, their game essentially. Like this, we're making a game. It's gonna be Wu-Tang, so that should be great. Or like, are they gonna really put like the heart and love into this to make this like a really really good game? And I'm really hoping that it's gonna be the latter of those two scenarios, because I think it'd be really cool to have like, a black and brown studio make a pretty like popular like black music franchise, and like it just works, and it's just a good game, and like it's competing with other like real popular games in the industry. So
That's really great. Like my only fear is that it's going to come out and it's going to look like that sort of native. I can't. I like Persia.
I think I know what you're talking about.
That native Persian Prince of Persia game.
Yeah. Where it's like you could tell they're really trying, but it's just not. It doesn't look good.
It doesn't have the polish to be like super interesting.
Yeah. Like that's also like my biggest fear. But it's like they try their hardest, and it's just like this doesn't look good.
Well,
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. All right, that has been the quick hits, and now we are going to wrap this thing up with what we have been playing. So you guys been playing more Far Cry?
Sean has. I haven't touched Far Cry in a week.
Oh, well.
Oh God.
Sean, Far Cry.
Not any shade against the game. I just haven't been playing games this week.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. Okay,
Um,
Sean.
so I have not been jumping in tanks as much as I used to. I think. Um,
Has the game
I
wised up with you and your tank antics?
I mean, now I found a new favorite shotgun. It's called a computer, and when you shoot people, it knocks them on their ass. They need
Oh.
not airbags, but they need ass bags, and I'm selling them for $39.95. But it literally like topples them over. The shit's hilarious.
Oh, wow. So
Um,
do they get back up, or is it just like they're done?
depending on if you headshot them or not, sometimes they can get
Okay.
back up because
Yeah.
for some damn reason, Ubisoft wants to change everything into an RPG now. So
Mhm.
all of them have you have different ammo types. I think we touched on this last time. Some of
Right.
them are armored and they're weak to piercing rounds, incendiary rounds, poison, whatever. I think I'm nearing the end of the game because I've recruited for the most part all of the three factions,
Okay.
and ugh, there was a point where Castillo, Giancarlo's character, hit on some points about American slavery. I'm like, oh man, this game is kind of dropping knowledge lightly,
Mhm.
not really getting too heavy into it. But once again, like we've said before, if you're a fan of Far Cry, maybe get it if you don't mind RPG
Yeah.
elements in your Far Cry.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
how
I would say if
okay,
you're a
go ahead.
fan of the previous Far Cry games, 100% buy Far Cry 6.
Hmm.
Like, if you like the franchise, there's no reason not to play this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how are the Far Cry elements wearing on you right now, Sean? Like, are you still enjoying the whole like
I mean, yeah,
doing the
because you can
whole
still
okay.
cause a bunch of mayhem, airdrop everywhere, and what have you. I
Mhm.
just don't like that. Like some people, I'm headshotting now. You need like 3 or 4 headshots, and if you don't catch them before they run
Uh
off, they
yeah.
regenerate their health.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, that's fun.
I don't have too much. I mean,
Yeah.
Far Cry isn't a super deep game. It's Far Cry slash just cause it's just a mayhem game with some story elements in there.
So is the story like really pushing you towards the end, or are you just trying to wrap this up to be done with the game?
I'm really just playing just to wrap it up because as I look at the map, and what I do like about this map is that if you zoom out slightly, you
Mhm.
can see where you've been because it's pretty much like lit up, and where you have not been, it's kind of you can see like the topography and all that stuff, but it's still like
Yeah, yeah.
kind of darkened.
Okay.
I had
Has that fog of war kind of thing.
yeah, I have no desire
Okay.
to explore the map though.
Right. Yeah. So
I
do
mean,
you get like special weapons and gear and stuff
it
like in
yeah,
the map?
if you do, yes, they have I think 70 named weapons that you can
That's a
get
lot.
in addition to the resolver weapons and the Supremo backpacks. But I think the last Supremo backpack that you can get is like a stealth backpack. I don't care about that. Like it's locked
There's no need
behind a
for stealth.
mission.
All right.
There's no fucking need for stealth. But it does let you shoot through walls apparently
Oh, okay.
if you use a special ability. But you have to charge up the special abilities to use the Supremo backpacks.
So is that like you get enough kills that's charged up, or is some
Yeah,
different
I
way?
believe they have
It's
an auto time. It's a cooldown.
yeah.
Like
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
then you can quicken up the
They,
cooldown by like getting kills and like enacting mayhem, I believe.
yeah, they have certain add-ons to your guns where like if you shoot people you can, heal yourself. If you shoot people, get headshots, you can charge it up faster.
I
But I
see.
mean, I barely use it.
Oh, okay,
I,
okay.
I think the most helpful backpack that I used was like the self-revive backpack. And one thing I don't like about this game, granted, I don't remember if it was like this in the previous games. Ultimately, Anton Castillo is holed up in his fortress, let's say.
Okay.
which is the initial city that you break out of. I tried to break back in very early, and the game refuses because it has these high walls that you can't get around, and the city's kind of sectioned off just to like where you escape from in the beginning, and then you can't fly over it because they have these anti-aircraft cannons, and normally you can take them out. Once you get in the range of it and it tries to shoot you down, it'll be marked on the map where it is. They have two over his little fortress area, Esperanza, I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't mark where the anti-aircraft cannons are. I broke back into the city to go where it would be. It was not there.
Oh, that sucks.
And then I tried to, all right, they're gonna shoot me down out of an aircraft. I tried to fly high up enough to where I can like what the hell you call it? The flight suit, air suit, whatever the hell.
Wingsuit.
Wingsuit or parachute in there. No, it shot me out of the sky.
Dang.
So there is no skipping that
Oh,
portion of the
through any.
story.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
I feel like you're not wrong. This is how all the other Far Cry games have worked. The villain of 3, the villain of 4, and the villain of 5, you don't really interact with them up until the very end. Everyone thinks you do with 3, but because people forget, Voss isn't the main villain of 3. He was just one of the early game lieutenants who was the most popular. For Joseph Seed and Pagan Min, they're pretty much at the very beginning. Pagan Min is at the very beginning and at the very end. Seed is at the very end. And then you get in Far Cry New Dawn, and he's in all of that. It very much sounds like, without exploring it myself, it really sounds like they really want to have narrative backing behind the confrontation, so they want you to go to the story so you get all the beats of his character and not just walk into his house like hour 1 and kill him and then like I guess
I did it. Let's all go
So
home.
granted, you do see far more of him than compared to other Far Cry games. I
Okay.
think you saw a little bit more of Joseph Seed than you did Pagan Min in 5 versus 4.
Yeah.
But this one, there are a lot of cutscenes with him. You see him on interviews on TV. You interact with him a couple times in the middle. And his son. I'm still curious to see where that goes. His son could go either way at this point. I don't know. I'm pleased with Giancarlo's acting in the game though.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I'm probably. I think I was almost towards the end this morning, but then I had to go to work, so I'll probably finish this today or tomorrow.
Awesome. Okay. And then Avery, you say you don't really have anything, right?
I mean, nothing of any real value. I played a little bit of Apex and I played a little bit of Hades. Minor thing on Hades, I've beaten the game for the second time now on 2 different platforms. So there's that. And yeah, in Apex, I'm in Apex Season 11 waiting room right now.
Next season starts in a week.
All right, and for me,
I can't wait to hate Ash.
I've finally finished up the main storyline for Genshin. So I've gotten to the spot where really and truly, like if I was playing it pretty consistently from when it launched to now, like I would have already been here. Story wise, it's really cool. It's the main problem with Genshin's story is the fact that it's a live service. They kind of have to piecemeal it out. So right now, the main character has finished like 3 out of I think 5 or 7 like different like islands
Cities.
that you go to. Yeah, cities essentially. Yeah. So like right now I've finished the 3rd one and that's pretty much current. So now I'm waiting on the 4th one. But like I having a great time with this game. I continue to have a great time with this game. The latest event that they have pushed out is a like music-based event, and it feels very much so like Dance Dance Revolution, but you play like a mini guitar, not a guitar. I'm really bad with musical instruments, so I couldn't even tell you what this thing looks like. It looks like a guitar, but like there's an actual like name for this thing. Anyways, it's cool. There's 3 levels to it. There's like a easy, medium, and hard, and the hard was actually pretty challenging. So I had a great time playing with that, and it was kind of like I'm having a great time doing something that I didn't even think that I would be doing a month ago. Game. So yeah, that's Genshin. The other game that I got to play for a bit, and I'm gonna finish up the trial, is Riders Republic. You excited, Sean?
Man, you know you want to save the money, man. Just go ahead and watch the Let's Play like he did Death Stranding.
Riders Republic.
Just turn the fan on in front of your face and watch the Let's Play, and get yourself some goggles. Look like a B2K back in 2000. That's what you should do. Same experience. Save your money.
I mean, I actually might do that while playing the game because actually that's not a bad idea. But yeah, like I have to say that I'm actually surprised between the beta and this trial, they've fixed a lot of like little things that is just like this game feels a lot better than what it did before. So I I I don't know. It's weird because I don't know if it just feels better like they've made improvements or because I'm so used to playing the game before that's just like, oh yeah, I know how this is going to feel like. I know what their tricks are supposed to like, how to do the tricks versus learning like, why are the controls like this? This makes no sense. This is stupid. It should be like SSX, but it's like steep. I never played steep. I hate this game. But I'm coming around to like after now playing it, it's just like, oh, this is I'm gonna be playing this game a lot. And even now, just having the experience beforehand playing through the actual start of this game, everything makes more sense because the last time it was just information overload. So it's just like, oh, you go here. This is just a giant open world. There's a fog of war. You have to go here and you have to clear the fog and you get different activities. Do the activities, you get stars. The stars will unlock different gear. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
it was a lot.
what am I doing? Yeah. So like now I actually have an understanding. So it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. I just have to focus on racing, get better at that. Then I get better gear to do better things. And another thing that like I'm just kind of ending this on is that when I think of SSX and I think of like all the great experience I had with SSX, it was really end game SSX. So like you got the like top snowboard, you can do like the crazy trips off of like a 4-foot jump, and it's just like I have to realize that
you have to work your way up.
Exactly.
That's kind of like me when I jumped back into Tony Hawk. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, exactly. So like I don't know what the end game of Rise Republic looks like, but I'm hoping it is going to be something close to that. I just hope that they support this game and they support this game in a way of them getting more weird with the content and like taking that like kind of crazy step and going more crazy and
I
crazy.
hope
Where you
they
gonna say, Sean? And with that being said, this is another.
don't.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if that game gets supported and how it does. But as I just said, that pretty much does it for our podcast. And this has been another episode of the Press X Start podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. Don't forget to rate and review us on your favorite podcasting apps and like on your favorite YouTube channel. That's ours. You can find that at pressx2start.com/YouTube, and you can find all the more stuff at pressx2start.com, which is our website. So after you do that and you do that, you do you and you have a great day.